Hi, good morning everyone. Let's get started with our next topic for this training session, which is on spooling and printing in SAP. Okay, in this training video, I'll be talking about how we can do printing and spooling in SAP and what is the method of printing in SAP. Okay, in this particular diagram, you can see how this particular SAP system, which is listed as the R3 system. Okay, this R3 system, how we are printing a document. Say this is your user, this is the user. When he tries to create a document, this particular document, okay, so this particular document here, you can see that when the print command is given, how it is going to the tempc spool request, then output request is generated, and that output request you have the chance to print it. Okay, so let's go through in detail about this. So we'll go through the breakup of each of these activities, how the printing flow happens. Okay, so R3 system, that is the SAP system, which recognizes several classes of documents. That is, you can do SAP script printing, text printing, report list printing. So these are the different kind of classes of documents which can be printed here. When a request is made to print a document, say this user is trying to request to print a document, a spool request is created. You can see that on printing, the spool request is created. Spool request is two part. One is the admin part, that is the information about the origin, date, author name, logical printer, which is stored in the R3 database. And second is about the data to be printed, is stored in the repository called tempc. So this is the tempc database. Okay, so R3 spool system uses generic representation of printer formatting commands, and the R3 internal characters set to represent the characters to be printed. And this tempc data can be stored inside the R3 database at the OS level. And there is a parameter called rspo/store_location. So this particular parameter, that is rspo/store_location, which determines where the tempc is located. So you can locate it within the database, or you can locate it at any place within the operating system. So next thing is the preparation of spool request for printing is an output request. Okay, so in R3 you can either print it, either immediately, that is an output request is generated immediately, or delay printing, that is the spool request doesn't lead immediately to an output request. A spool can correspond to several output requests. These can be sent to output devices later. Usually, but not in certain printing scenarios, the R3 system generates a device-specific printer-ready output stream, which is sent via operating system printer to a spooler. Now, there are different methods to access the printers. So there are local printing, there is remote printing, there is front-end printing. So in this particular slide, we are talking about the local printing. So you can configure your R3 instance to run multiple spool processes. That is, in your profile parameter, you can define multiple spool depending on what is the spool, how many spooling processes do you require. So output requests are usually sent to the spool server in the order they were created. But if more than one spool process is configured, the request may be printed in a different order. Okay, you can specify that the output requests are transmitted to the host print server in the order they were generated. So it's an option basically. Okay, then there are various methods in SAP spool system can be used to access an operating system spooler. So local printing, basically the operating system spooler runs on the same host as the spool work process. So here you can see that the spool work process, it is running on the same OS. Okay, so in Windows NT systems, the spool process uses the OS calls to pass output to the printer manager, and in Unix it is done using the LPR, that is the access method L. Okay, so let's go to the remote printing. Okay, in remote printing what happens is the R3 work spool process passes the printer ready output stream to the OS spooler running on a different host. Okay, so basically you can see that this is running on a different host. Okay, so that is the difference. Some printers have their own printing operating system spoolers. They can be directly attached to network through a network card interface. They are called the network printers and can receive the output from R3, that is access method U. Okay, so this is the first scenario that is shown here. This is also remote printing. Okay, then we have a method S. Okay, so here you can see it's going to a Windows PC where SAP LPD command is running. So these are the two different ways you can send it to the Unix printer, you can send it to Windows printer, or you can directly print it to a network printer. Okay, then third case, which is a front-end printing. Okay, front-end printing, it allows the users to send the output request to printers that are defined on their local front-end PCs. So if a printer is set to print using the local front-end PCs, immediately whatever printer is defined in the user's PC, it will invoke that printer list and you can print it from that particular printers which is there. Okay, then next is about creating a new output device. To create a new output device, what you do is you can go to the T code called SPAD and you can create an output device there. Okay, so here you can see the different parameters which need to be passed to create an output device. So first thing is the logical printer name which need to be provided. Short name, that is name of the system uses to access the printer. Then device type. Okay, depending on whether it is a front-end printing or okay. Then about the spool server, that is the R3 application server that formats the output request. Access method specifies the data transfer method to the host spooler. Then you have the host printer, that is name of printer defined at the OS level. Host name, then the destination host. Okay, so these are the different things that you require to create an output device. Okay, next is maintaining the spool database. So as you can see that the spool keeps growing. If you keep printing say hundreds and thousands of pages, it gets stored in the spool. So you need to have a mechanism to clear the older outdated spools. So how do you do that? Here you can see that there is a program called RSPO1041. So you can run this program using SE38 and you can define how many old days spool you want to delete. So what it does is it basically deletes old spool request. And then there is one more program called RSPO1043. So it basically checks the spool data consistency. And here you can see there are two different T codes which is normally used for maintaining spool. SPAD is printer administration and SP01 is basically to manage the output and print requests. Okay, then here we can see what is the authorization users should have to print. Okay, so these are the different authorization objects you should have to perform a printing. Then here you can see that these are another list of authorization object depending on if you have set up a control on number of pages that a user can print. And that's it. That's what actually I wanted to cover, and in the next section we'll be covering about the live demo on how we can perform this maintenance and administration of printers. Thanks for joining and have a nice day. Bye bye.